Black women. Over the last several weeks, I have been monitoring the anti-Black woman, Black male YouTube channels that have been very vocal about the issue of colorism. Many Black male YouTubers have basically made light of our colorism plight. They have disregarded the very existence of colorism on some channels, and others have said that the argument of colorism is only an ugly, dark-skinned Black woman's problem. I have heard Black men say that attractive, dark-skinned Black women don't complain. I would like to let you know that I have links with Black models, including legendary runway and Victoria's Secret model Naomi Campbell, giving her own account of being subjected to colorism. In this video, I will cover 4 topics. One of them will discuss how dark-skinned girls and women are affected by colorism, how colorism is contributing to the complete erasure of Black women in media, entertainment, and politics. How colorism contributes to the violence committed against dark-skinned girls and women. And how colorism also contributes to the lack of physical and mental health stability of Black women and girls. Black women, I want to first start off by reading some excerpts from the Journal of Family Psychology, Journal of the Division of Family Psychology of the American Psychological Association. And the title is Exploring the Impact of Skin Tone on Family Dynamics and Race-Related Outcomes. This is written by Antoinette M. Landor et al. And this was published in the year of 2013. Volume 27. And the first excerpt goes a little bit like this. Families display preferential treatment towards offspring based on skin tone, and these differences varied by gender of child. Specifically, darker skin tone sons receive higher quality parenting and more racial socialization, promoting mistrust compared to their counterparts with lighter skin. Lighter skinned daughters receive higher quality parenting compared to those with darker skin. In addition, gender of child moderate the association between primary caregiver, skin tone, and racial socialization, promoting mistrust. These results suggest that colorism remains a salient issue with African American families, implications for future research, prevention, and intervention are discussed. The other excerpt goes a little bit like this. There is a need to understand the impact of skin tone on family dynamics and race-related outcomes, given their unique influence on African American mental health and long-term functioning. Moreover, if skin tone is found to impact these factors, there are important consequences for adolescents' well-being and therefore significant implications for preventative intervention programming for African American families in community and clinical settings. The other excerpt goes a little bit like this. Research, however, has only recently begun to identify and conceptualize how race and ethnicity operates within the family context through family process measures such as parenting, though even less research has focused on how issues of colorism operate within families. Preferential treatment via higher quality of parenting may be one way to conceptualize how colorism operates within the family context. For example, a recent qualitative study on the role of black families in developing skin tone bias found this bias to be learned, reinforced, and in some cases contested within families. Respondents reported their families as a primary influence in shaping how they view themselves and others as it relates to skin tone. Such transmissions of colorism was found to impact how family members treated children of a particular skin tone, with children of lighter skin receiving preferential treatment over those with darker skin. Parents of dark-skinned children may scapegoat them and hold their lighter-skinned children in higher regard. In contrast, other parents may provide more support to their dark-skinned children, given that they may view their child's skin tone as a social disadvantage. Indeed, there is evidence that darker-skinned individuals experience more racial discrimination. Thus, parents may attempt to counter racial discriminations to protect their children from it through their approach to parenting. We examine whether offspring's skin tone is related to an increase or decrease in quality of parenting and whether this varies by gender of child. So black women, I think about people like that NBA ball player, what's his name, Gabriel Arenas, and then I look at people like Tommy Sotomayor, and then I look at O.J. Simpson, who has 2 sets of children, one black and the other mixed race, light skin, and I often wonder how these children of these men were treated. And in the case of Tommy Sotomayor, I don't know, it's crazy because he has dark-skinned daughters and he says some very horrible, bigoted, prejudiced, racist things about dark-skinned black women. And I find that to be very disturbing. I look at all of the men, the black men that have said racist, bigoted, prejudiced things about dark-skinned women, and I'm thinking that some of these men, not all of them, but some of them have dark-skinned daughters. And I'm wondering, how is this affecting their personality, their self-esteem, their mental stability? And this is very concerning to me. We have a huge problem in this country, black women. There is an agenda to wipe us out. I've said that multiple times over and over and over again. I look at Obsidian Mumia Ali. I know that you guys are probably thinking, why do I keep talking about him? Let me tell you why. This man is getting too big. And my biggest fear is that at some point, he's gonna hit mainstream. And if that happens, we're fucked. This man has admitted that there are very important upper echelon black men that are financially backing his message. They are financing his agenda. He's even admitted that he can't even mention these names because these are very well-known people. We should be very concerned about that, black women. There are men, black men in power that are supporting people like Obsidian Mumia Ali, pushing the issue of colorism, featureism, genderism, and anti-black woman hate propaganda. We have a problem. Let me move on. The next one is an excerpt from New America, and the title is America's Erasure of Black Women and Girls. It goes a little bit like this. As early as 5 years old, black girls are seen as more adult-like and less innocent than their white female peers. According to a recent Georgetown Law Center on Poverty and Inequality report, the perception that black girls need less support, nurturing, and protection likely contributes to the disparate criminalization of black girls. Black women, if you ever notice, whenever black girls are raped and murdered, or kidnapped and molested and raped and murdered, it's always dark-skinned black girls. Pay attention to that, black women. The next time you watch the news, and I hate to say this, but there will be a next time. The next time a little black girl is found dead and raped, she had been raped and murdered, look at her face. I promise you, 9 out of 10 times, she will be dark-skinned. You don't see it happening to mixed race girls as much. You don't see it happening to light-skinned black girls. Pay very close attention. This is happening to dark-skinned black girls. They are more likely to be molested, raped, kidnapped, beaten, and killed. I'm not making this up. I have the links at the bottom. I'm not fabricating anything. Let's move on. The next source is going to come from the Institute for Women's Policy Research, and the title is Violence Against Black Women, Many Types, Far-Reaching Effects. The data shows that more than 4 in 10 black women experience physical violence from an intimate partner during their lifetime. White women, Latinas, Asian Pacific Islander women report lower rates. I repeat, lower rates. Black women are also experiencing significant higher rates of psychological abuse, including humiliation, insults, name-calling, coercive control, than do women overall. That would explain why so many black men on YouTube are expressing their hatred for black women, specifically dark-skinned black women. If you look at the Tommy Sotomayor channel, he is, without a doubt, a colorist, a featurist. He's a sexist, he's a racist, and he's bigoted, and he's hateful. If you look at the Obsidian Mumia Ali channel, he is targeting black women, and he's been very colorist, featurist, hedonist, genderist, sexist, racist, bigoted, hateful, and evil in his propaganda of hate against black women. We have a problem, black women. And if we don't do something about this now, we will cease to exist in this country, at the very least in this country. There is an agenda to wipe us out. There is an agenda to get rid of black women in this country, dark-skinned black women. We have a serious problem. Third source. I'm sorry, this is my fourth source. I do apologize. This comes from Misogynoir. I'm perhaps pronouncing it wrong. It's Misogynoir. Sorry if I didn't pronounce it correctly. The title is Sexism and Racism in the Lives of Black Women. And it goes a little bit like this. Physical and mental health consequences. Survivors report both intimate and long-term physical and sexual health effects, bruises, black eyes, genital injuries, sexually transmitted infections. Let me just stop right there. What's that guy's name? Kid Organic. He has a video where there is a black man bragging about infecting I believe black women with herpes, if I'm not mistaken. There are black men out there. That's why, you have to be very careful. There are black men out there that have AIDS, herpes, and they are intentionally targeting black women for infection. That's why you have a lot of black men on YouTube that are saying, just hit it and quit it. Just pump and dump. If you notice, the term pump and dump is very prevalent among black men. Even Obsidian Mamiya Ali, he was on O'Shea Duke Jackson's channel. And, you know, I believe that O'Shea Duke Jackson said, well, if you believe in pumping and dumping black women, isn't that going to contribute to the problem? And Obsidian Mamiya Ali said, no, they're already damaged. Who cares? So he is pushing pump and dump. He is pushing black men fucking and abandoning black women, pump and dump. And a lot of these black men are going to have full-blown AIDS. They're going to be HIV positive. They're going to have herpes, and they're going to pump and dump black women, infect them, and leave. Black women, we have a problem. This man is pushing. He's encouraging black men to further commit acts of crimes against us. It goes. Let me see here. Okay, so survivors report both intimate and long-term physical and sexual health effects, bruises, black eyes, genital injuries, sexually transmitted infections, which may be caused by multiple sexual partners, less condom use. Now, let me just say something right now. Because there is a lot of pressure on black girls to have sex, I believe that these are the ones that are going to be the most affected. And that's why a lot of black women are going to have to be very careful, because you have black guys that are going to be putting pressure to pump and dump and leave. This is very dangerous, black women. Mental health problems include post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, suicide, ideation, pain-related health problems, and low self-esteem. I contend that violence and sexism against black women aren't invisible at all. In fact, the violence is highly visible. It just seems it's just deemed acceptable, inevitable, and inconsequential. Black women, stay away from black men. I've told you guys before. They don't give a fuck about us at all, black women. They don't care. If you look at what is happening in this country, more black men are beating us. They're killing us. They're strangling us. There was a black woman. There were several black women in New York that have been chopped up, and their body parts have been discarded throughout New York. There was one black woman whose body parts were found in a park in New York. If you remember the old black lady on the subway who was beaten in the face by that black guy. Look, black men are showing their hatred for black women. And I'm telling you right now, you need to be very careful. That's why I keep telling you guys, get your passport, and try to get the fuck out of this country. It's going to get worse in this country, black women. I want you to look at the links at the bottom of this video. It will save your fucking life. I'm doing this because I am a black woman, and because I am an advocate for black women and girls. Specifically, a little bit more for the ones that are dark skinned, because those are the ones that are being the most victimized. And this Obsidian Mamiya Ali guy, I'm telling you right now, he's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, I'm going to stop right there, because I don't want my channel to get shut down. Look at the links and leave a comment. I'm out.